Here are today's top news stories and why they matter. Protests are taking place across Nigeria today as citizens take to the streets demanding the release of Biafran separatist leader Nnamdi Kanu, exactly 5 years after the End SARS movement shook the nation. The demonstrations also mark the 5th anniversary of the Lekki toll gate shootings, a defining moment in the fight against police brutality. DW's Ben Shimang reports from Abuja.
In Abuja, today's protest goes beyond calls for Nnamdi Kanu's release. It's a test of Nigeria's democratic resilience and the government's tolerance for dissent. Despite a court order banning the march, activist Omoyole Soyore insists it will remain peaceful, even as demonstrators plan to march towards the presidential villa. This stand-up raises critical questions about civil liberties, judicial independence, and the government's willingness to engage with dissenting voices in a country still grappling with the legacy of End SARS. Here is what some Nigerians had to say about today's protest.
We are calling on the federal government that the trial must be sustained and it must be seen transparent. That we are not political, we are not here emotionally. Yes. What we are saying is simple. Yes. That Nnamdi Kanu should be allowed to rest the law of the land. Yes. And it should be done with all fairness.
Yes. I remember when they all protest against subsidy removal during Jonathan time, but now they are against protest. Now, if you look at it, even Sunday Igbohu has been released, who was also charged with the same case. How come Sunday Igbohu has been released, but now you hold on to Nnamdi Kanu, which is a clear indication that yes, there is a clear gap there. There's bias because there is no justice.
Tchiroma Bakary, candidate of the Cameroon National Salvation Front, has published what he claims are internal vote tallies showing him in the lead in the presidential race. These self-reported figures, allegedly sourced from party agents nationwide, have not been independently verified. Observers have already flagged inconsistencies and possible calculation errors. The Constitutional Council is expected to announce the official results on Thursday. Why does this matter? Tchiroma's early declaration heightens tensions in Cameroon's already fragile political environment, where President Paul Biya has held power for over 4 decades. If confirmed, a leadership change would mark a historic shift. However, premature and error-prone announcements risk eroding public trust in the electoral process and could spark unrest. The coming days will test the credibility of Cameroon's institutions and the resilience of its democracy. And finally, Zimbabwe's ruling ZANU-PF party has endorsed a resolution to extend President Emmerson Mnangagwa's term by 2 years, a move widely criticized by the opposition and legal experts. If implemented, Mnangagwa could remain in power until 2030. The resolution, adopted at the party's annual conference, instructs the government to draft constitutional amendments to override the current 2-term limit. Experts note that such changes would require a 2/3 parliamentary majority and possibly a national referendum. Critics argue this reflects a pattern of authoritarian consolidation, citing Mnangagwa's record of suppressing dissent, economic mismanagement, and disputed elections since taking power in a 2017 military coup. What's next? ZANU-PF, which holds a parliamentary majority, is expected to initiate the legislative process in the coming months. However, internal divisions, particularly between Mnangagwa loyalists and a faction aligned with Vice President Constantino Chiwenga, could complicate progress. The party has set its 2026 conference as a deadline for implementing the changes. And that's all we had lined up for today. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe to our channel DW Africa. I'm Lucy Riley. Thanks for watching.